Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil. Today I want to talk about Gardevoir EX, one of the most anticipated Pokemon and decks from the Scarlet and Violet set, right? This is the one that I certainly was most excited about, and I think a lot of people were very excited about. And Pokemon, which I thought they would do, they gave us a build of this deck on the Battle Pass. It's on the Premium Battle Pass, and what I'm looking at today is the deck they give us at Tier 0. So this is the starter deck, or not a starter deck, but the deck they give on the Battle Pass, Premium Battle Pass, Tier 0, with no modifications. So let me walk through the deck list. It certainly wants to be improved, and we'll be talking about that in later videos. So Gardevoir EX, obviously, as the deck's named after, it's a Stage 2, so we have to get, so it's very much an evolution-based deck, so Stage 2s obviously are clunky, but this is a super powerful Pokemon. 310 HP, which is fine. It's got an okay attack. Miracle Force does 190 damage for 3. Again, like I said, it's okay, and the Pokemon recovers from all special conditions. A nice little plus, but again, not the huge thing. But it's the ability Psychic Embrace that really makes this Pokemon tremendous. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic Psychic Energy card from your discard pile to one of your Psychic Pokemon. If you attached energy to a Pokemon in this way, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. You can't use this ability on a Pokemon that would be knocked out. So you can't do it to knock out your own Pokemon and then Roxanne your opponent, for instance. But it does put damage counters on, so that's the downside, but it gives you unlimited energy acceleration, which is just a tremendous ability. And this is Gardevoir evolves from Kirlia, which is one of the best engines in the game right now. They give us 3 Kirlia. I wish they gave us 4, I gotta say. I think the deck would be better. With that Kirlia Stage 1, has an attack slap that's very underwhelming. Don't use it for that. But it's got the refinement ability. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. And then you may draw 2 cards. So it's discard and draw 2. Chinchino, with its make do ability, was one that was recently played that was very similar. So that's rotated. This is the new way to do it, and Gardevoir evolves from this. So an engine to get set up. It obviously gets your energies in the discard with this, so it synergizes very well. So the deck, 3 Kirlias, it plays 4 Ralts, the basic, and then it also plays 1 Gallade. That's another Stage 2 that also evolves from Kirlia. This has the Buddy Catch ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So very, very useful ability. You can put a supporter card from your deck into your hand, and then if you haven't used your supporter for turn, you can use it. So guaranteed supporter of your choice every turn. Tremendous. And it's got a useful attack, although you usually don't want to attack with it because you want to keep it around for the ability. Swirling Slice does 160 for 3 energy, and you move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So you have to attack with it occasionally, but you do want to save it for its ability. And the other attacker they give us is Drifblim. It's got the second one attack does 30 for 2, certainly highly underwhelming. And then it's got Curse Spreading. For 3 energy, you put 8 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. So putting damage counters wherever you want is certainly useful. It only does 8 when we have Sableye from Lost Zone that does 12. So 8, I gotta say, feels a little underwhelming for an evolution Pokemon needing to get 3 energy on. So I think the attackers in this deck leave something to be desired. And then Drifloon, which the Pokemon evolves from, it does do for 2 energy, does 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So you can then use Gardevoir to accelerate energy to it. You can get up to 6 damage counters on it, right, with 3 attachments. And then it does 6 times 3, 180 damage. So you can do 180 damage from the basic Pokemon. So that's really probably the better attack. Generally, Drifloon the basic, and then occasionally the Drifblim to finish something off that hasn't gotten knocked out yet. It plays 11 basic energies, and then a variety of trainers. Just kind of Escape Rope, 3 Level Ball, Arezu, which searches your deck for up to 3 evolution Pokemon that don't have a rule box, and then go into your hand. So obviously you get your Kirlias, you can get the Gallade with that, and the Drifblim. So it has some value in the deck there. 1 Pal Pad to get things back. 4 Nest Ball, because you really do want to get those Ralts into play right away on turn 1. Getting that set up is very important. 4 Research to get things going. What I find when I play the deck is I'm often researching away when my Gardevoir EXs, and I only play 2. So it puts the deck in a very tough spot. 1 Fog Crystal, a nice card to get, obviously, a basic Psychic Energy or basic Psychic Pokemon. More of those would probably benefit the deck. 2 Old Cemetery, puts damage counters when you attach energy from hand to non-psychic Pokemon, so just a way to soften up your opponent's Pokemon. 4 Arven, as we're familiar with, search for an item and a tool. 1 Defiance Band, 1 Lost Vacuum, 1 Roxanne, 2 Boss, obviously a very important supporter to control what you're hitting into. 1 Ultra Ball, 1 Vitality Band. That does your attacking Pokemon does 10 more to your opponent's active. So 10 more at times can be important. I don't know if this deck really needs that. And then 3 Rare Candy. They only play, as I said before, 3 Kirlia. So although there's only 3 stage 2s, also 2 Gardevoirs, EXs, and 1 Gallade. So Rare Candy has some value. But you really like having the Kirlias in the deck too, so I'm not sure how important the Rare Candy is. But that's the list we have. Let's take a look and see the deck at work. I gotta say, after having played the Miraidon deck just recently before this, which is also tier 0 from the basic pass, I think the Miraidon deck just feels like it works a little better than this. I know I'm still getting to know the deck some. But the attackers, 2 Gardevoirs, 1 Gallade. Obviously, you want probably no Zacian V, which the deck would like. The fact that I can't recover a Pokemon, so if I have to discard Gardevoir early on, if you have research, you've got to get those Ralts into play. So I'll take a mulligan here. That's okay. It obviously helps out my opponent. They get an extra card. But we'll see what I get and see what I am up against. So 1 mulligan, opponent sees the cards I'm playing, and they also see the sleeves I have. I haven't changed the sleeves from the one that they give you in the Battle Pass. So my opponent may, in fact, know the exact 60 I'm playing, which isn't ideal. So I go first. The problem is, all right, I do get 1 Kirlia. 1 Ralts, right? I get 1 basic into play. And I want to attach... What do I want to attach? I will attach to active. It gives me the option to retreat. I can start working up to it. No, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, obviously. Not a great start. I do have Rare Candy, so I can evolve Ralts into Gallade, which I'd probably do, and then search for a supporter, which I imagine will be a Research. All right, so up against a Gardevoir deck, I have to assume it's a better Gardevoir deck than mine, since this is a highly nerfed Gardevoir deck. The engine isn't quite what I want, and the attackers are also not what I would like. All right, so Ralts. Let me just look. So the Drifblim, I may attach to the active. No, I want to get this discarded, right? So I want the energy in the discard pile, but I'll attach the active if I draw into energy. So I want to get a Research. I could boss just to try to disrupt my opponent, but I need to get things going here. So Research this hand away. I'm trying to remember, do I play? Yes, I only play 2 boss in the deck, so I lose boss, although the deck does play Pal Pad, so I do have the potential of getting these back. Let's see. I will throw down my other Drifloon in case I get knocked out. that's what I will attack with next turn. And I will just attack for 10. I'm not, in one sense, I attach the energy figuring I may get knocked out, and that's okay for me. And perhaps I should have attached the other energy to a different Pokemon to give myself free retreat. No, I don't need that, right? As long as I need to get my Gardevoir up and going next turn. And I do have Arven, so that will get me Rare Candy. I played the one. I didn't discard any, so I should be able to get Gardevoir and play next turn, assuming I keep this hand. So that's not bad at all. We'll see what happens here, though. Okay, Rescue Carrier. Radiant Greninja. And Radiant Greninja obviously does make the deck better, too. You get to discard an energy and draw 2 cards, both of which are very useful with this deck. So my opponent's getting some good use of their deck. Things are going okay for me also, I would generally say. Although I'm not set up as well as I like, that I could be in worse shape for sure, too. So I can evolve to Gardevoir next turn. So they got their first Kirlia. I mean, we'll see how many they get. Okay, so it is a Mewtwo v Union deck also, which is one of the ways the deck is being played. Mewtwo v Union does big damage to it. So I want to get... Actually, let me get a Kirlia, sorry. I will discard an energy to get things going there and see what I draw into. Right, I have 2 Ralts here, so I need to save the other Ralts to become my Gardevoir, but I may want to just use the Arven anyway. Let me get a second energy in the discard pile. I have 2 energy there. So I may just retreat my active too. Let's see what I do here. Alright, so Defiance Band. I might need that to take out the Mewtwo, but I can easily 30. I guess I don't really want Defiance Band this turn, do I, as I think about things. So I want to 30, 40. All right, so I'm going to $20. Okay, good. I will retreat for 1. I will attack in a second. And I will... I want to accelerate somewhere, don't I? I think I do. Maybe I didn't want to do that play. Might have been a mistake there. I think I wanted to say I should have saved that energy for next turn to accelerate with. And I will just attack, take knockout. I probably get knocked out myself. I put 2 energies in the discard pile through this. But I can obviously, as long as my Gardevoir sticks around, I can one-shot. I mean, I can reattach them. So that's the nice thing. I don't have to worry about... I have unlimited energy acceleration, just limited by the HP of my Pokemon. I don't think I played that last turn correctly, unfortunately. So I got to try to improve my play there. All right, so how many pieces of the Mewtwo do they have? They have 2 pieces of the Mewtwo v Union, so they need 2 more to go still. This is a Gardevoir that I would like to have in this deck also. They don't give us this one in the base set, and they also don't give it in the upgraded set. So it does 60 damage plus 30 more for each psychic energy attached. So it can really, its energy damage level stacks up quite nicely. So obviously Mewtwo V Union does big damage with it. It takes a bunch of energy, but obviously Gardevoir gets that energy on. So things. All right, so now they have the full Mewtwo into play. So the difficulty is I cannot one-shot the Mewtwo V Union with this deck. Another card that the deck plays, I don't remember mentioned, is the Zacian V, right, which is a psychic Pokemon, and its damage is based upon how many energies you have attached. So I could, right now I'm doing, 120? I think I might want to take out the Gardevoir, right? Seems like a good play to me. I need an energy, though. That is true, right? Do I play Energy Search in this deck? I'm trying to remember this list. I don't think it does, so let me do that. Oh, that really stinks, doesn't it? All right, so I need, just make this play, I guess. 120. So I will stick down that there. I'm going to research this hand away. All right, I get another Ralts down. I like that. I want to... No, let's see. What do I want to do here? I guess I just attack here, right? No, let me Kirlia. I'm going to want to evolve this Kirlia probably next turn. So I will get rid of Nest Ball. I don't need that. I should have got rid of energy probably, right? So I could do that, and then I can put 8 damage counters however I want. There's not really a reason to do that, though, is there? So I will just attack here. No, I will attach to Gardevoir. I may want to attack with Gardevoir at some point in this game. Still very much learning this deck. I haven't played this as much as the other decks that I've been making videos on, I gotta say. I'm a little, part of what I'm thinking about is how am I going to handle the Mewtwo V Union, and what's it going to do to me, right? It does 300 damage, so once it gets the, what's this tool called? Vitality Band, it will one-shot my Gardevoir EX, and that is certainly bad news for me. It also has the spread attack that does 16 damage counters it sprinkles around as it wants. So I'm probably going to get crushed here. And I might not be able to get my next Gardevoir into play, right? It can take out my Kirlia and my Ralts that I have in play, which isn't great. I can... they concede. How about I'm a bit surprised by that, so take that for sure. So up against, and look, that is a reasonable build of the deck, I do believe. So let's jump in and see the deck work again. That honestly, the deck set up pretty well that game for me, better than it often has. You know, like I said, I would prefer a 4th Kirlia, just because it's such a good card. You need another attacker. The other, was it a Gardevoir, I think it is? A Zacian V. When you do the upgraded deck, they give you a 2/2 Shadow Rider VMAX line and a 3rd Gardevoir, both of which I think are helpful. in that. So, you know, Shadow Rider obviously does damage based upon energies in play, so something that you can help get a lot of energies into play. Shadow Rider accelerates energy and draws with it, so there's some logic behind that combo, although it's a bit, I don't know, that's probably not the most natural way to play it. So up against another Ralts deck, so I will attach, I will bench another Ralts, sorry. I have Kirlia in hand, I have Research. I'll attach one to the active. It gives me the option to retreat next turn if I want to. I'll have, you know, we'll see what happens. At this point, I will play the Kirlia. I would research, assuming I started my next turn with this exact set of cards, which of course I won't do. I could get judged, but more than that, I obviously will at least draw a card. But even if I draw, you know, it's the type of turn where I probably need to play research. Even if I were to top deck a Gardevoir EX, I'd be sad about it. But the game would not be lost either. You know, you can't really, I don't know that you can ever discard both Gardevoir EXs. So if you get both Gardevoir EXs in hand and your research, I don't think you can play the research. So, yep, so the Mew engine, right, which makes sense. And you can attack with Mew. It does 30 damage, which isn't a lot, obviously. So you're not really wanting to attack with it. You could potentially finish off a Pokemon. But, all right, so my opponent didn't do a ton here. Okay, so I want to bench both Kirlias. So I'm going to use the ability here. I'd like to be able to retreat into another Pokemon before I research. That was my logic there. All right, I want to bench this Kirlia because I want to get it in play. The problem is I can't switch now, right? I do play one Escape Rope, so if I hit that, I can retreat. Otherwise, my Kirlia is stuck in active. All right, so I have... This is not great for sure. So I'm going to attack for 30 here. Oh, I didn't use the ability, did I? All right, so that was a mistake, not using the ability. I can retreat. I'll get rid of the research at this point, because searching for the evolution Pokemon does seem solid next turn. I can get a Gardevoir EX and a Gallade. I can attack with either one next turn, right? I have 2 energies on the Kirlia. Now if I get knocked out, I can search for the Gardevoir, and I could attack with that next turn. Obviously, I'd like not to be knocked out. I don't know what my opponent's going to do. They didn't get a card, so that's good for me. So let's see what they're going for here. They could have attached the emergency jelly. Just making sure I got the name right. Right, it would heal off the Mew if... which would then stop me from knocking it out this turn, next turn, with Kirlia's attack if it stays in the active, which would have some value. Not a ton of value, of course, but some. All right, so they have Zacian V, so they're being judged. I have 2 Kirlias in play, so that's probably okay. We'll see what happens here, right? I'll have to see what I want to discard, right? Nest Ball, probably want to get another another Ralts into play. I think, let's see, no Pokemon on the discard. There is the Drifloon. That doesn't have value until I get my Gardevoir EX up, which I might get set up this turn. All right, so they didn't attack. I actually will get knockout with Kirlia if that's the play I want to make. All right, so I need to use the ability. I'll get rid of one Nest Ball. Not both, but I'm willing to get rid of one. All right, Fog Crystal. Not bad. Arven. So I can... What do I want to do here? Let me use Kirlia's ability. Discarded energy. I have access to another energy with Fog Crystal. I have Arven to get... So I can get one of the Pokemon that I want. I can't get both. So I probably want to... Am I going to get knocked out by Zacian next turn? I might. So, but I'm going to have to run the risk, I think. I'm going to... Ultra Ball. Just a minute. Take a look here. So I have Gardevoir, and I can get a tool card. I'll do that. I'm going to run the risk. I'm going to get the Gardevoir into play. It could go very badly for me, though, of course. It most certainly could. All right, so we get another energy. So I can get an energy in the discard pile. And I don't need Old Cemetery. All right. They're playing Psychic Pokemon also. All right. Maybe I just attack with the Kirlia in the active, though. That could be the play, right? Then to knock me out with the Zacian's harder for them. I think I want to get down another Ralts. So I will make that play. I could get the other basic down and accelerate to that also. I don't know that I want to do that, though, do I? All right, so I'll get a couple energies in play here. Done. Do I want to get... All right, I'm going to give up the Kirlia option, get a Drifloon in play. Because I think this may be my attacker next turn, right? All right, I will accelerate a couple energy. There's certainly a risk that they knock out my Gardevoir next turn. And that puts me in a very bad spot. All right, so I will attack. Not exactly the big attack, but that's okay. I got the first prize card. What's my opponent going to do, right? I assume they're going to get their Gardevoir EX up. I don't know that, but likely. If they're confident, they will send up their Zacian V. They also should have some confidence knowing that I can't knock it out. Well, the deck I'm playing can't knock it out, and I can't one-shot it. So 30. I can get 2 more on to get 6. 6 times 3. I can do 180. So I can 2-shot the Zacian with a single prizer, which isn't bad. Maybe I should not have attached the energy to Ralts as I'm sitting here. But what's done is done. I assume they're going to knock out my Kirlia. They might not. I mean, they could gust up another Pokemon. Obviously, well, the worst thing is that they knock out my Gardevoir EX. That's difficult for them to do, though. And that's certainly one good reason why I did not attack with the Gardevoir, right? I would have made it much more vulnerable. They need, besides getting the energies in play, they need the boss. So they have 3 energy. They can get, look, they can get a 4th energy. 5, so 150. So I don't believe they're going to knock me out. Now this Gardevoir is also dangerous. So if they're just hitting into my Kirlia, then they're not going to over-accelerate energy here. I assume they're just going to get the 3 energies attached that take the knockout. I will send up my Drifloon. I'll accelerate a 3rd energy to it, which is as much as I can do because I can't knock myself out. And I'll do maximum damage to the Zacian. The downside is I have no cards in hand. But that is what it is. No, I do have cards in hand. Yeah, I was wondering why I didn't see my cards. Was I clicking on something? Looked like I didn't have cards there. All right, so send up the Drifloon. So I want to get a Kirlia. I might as well grab all of these cards at this point. So the Gallade is a useful card too, certainly. I'm going to want to play that next turn. So I'm out of Kirlias, so I'm going to put down another Drifloon as an attacker. Because that's a solid attacker for sure. All right, and then I have one more energy to accelerate. I will put that onto the Drifloon, getting that ready for next turn. I didn't use my ability, did I? So I'm going to... What do I want to get rid of here? The Lost Vacuum. I'll get rid of Lost Vacuum. I probably could get rid of Rare Candy also. All right, so not bad. Not a bad spot. 180. So I can easily knock out the Zacian V next turn. We'll see what they do. Obviously, the big risk for me is that they can knock out the Gardevoir. They have 5 energy now in the discard, so they get 8 energy. 8 times 3 is 180. They can attach one more. 210 plus 60. So they need a couple more energies to get going. Obviously, if they can discard them, they can accelerate as many as they want. So it's possible. The Vitality Band does help them because then they just need to get to 300. And I'm not sure. Actually, sure. No, I'm not sure if that math helps them. All right, so I'm getting judged. That's all right. That was a nice hand, but it is what it is. So I could search for my evolution Pokemon again. I do have Nest Ball. Pokegear. Pal Pad. Sorry. So what are the puts? Which I could get Boss back, and Roxanne also has some value. So I might want to. I believe I just play one Roxanne on the list. I'm trying to double check here. Yeah, one Roxanne. So I might want to put the Roxanne back. If I fall behind my opponent, I might need to Roxanne to have a chance to win. The deck game's going slowly, right? Neither of us are smashing through the other. So they're attacked, and they're giving up 2 prizes this turn. Of course, it does give them the Roxanne play next, so perhaps that is part of what they're thinking. So I could attack with Drifblim, right? And then I could soften something up for next turn, which isn't terrible, right? Let me grab a basic. I do have Rare Candy in the deck also. So maybe I want to... I'm not sure. Maybe I should have used Kirlia's ability first, right? So I want to discard here. I'll get rid of Old Cemetery. Defiance Band. So I am doing more damage there. I could use do the 80 damage per, right? Which wouldn't be bad either. So no, I want to get... I want to sit on the Gallade for next turn. I do more damage this way, so I'm going to make this my play. Need 2 more energies accelerated here, which I have. And then I think I just attack at this point. Yeah, so I just attack. I don't want to put damage on the Gardevoir, so he needs 40 more, and then what do I want to put damage on, right? That's the question. I might want to hit into Gardevoir, right? 1. Because at some point, they're going to hit me with Gardevoir. I want to get them a little... I think I want to get them afraid of losing their Gardevoir. It might, I don't know if that's the smartest play there, but I softened up the Gardevoir. All right, I've got another Drifloon in hand, so that can do nice damage next turn. Obviously, losing my Gardevoir EX essentially loses me the game. I believe what my other Gardevoir EX is prized. I'm trying to remember. I wouldn't have seen it with Arven, right? Because Arven only looks at non-rule box unless I searched for it. So I'm trying to remember, is my other Gardevoir EX in the deck? If my Gardevoir gets knocked out, then it certainly starts to matter. They can easily two-shot my Gardevoir EX 8, so they can do 10 energies. So they can knock out my Gardevoir EX with their active, I believe. At some point they can't keep accelerating because they'll get knocked out. They have Gardevoir's ability also, the single prize Gardevoir to accelerate some more energy. So they're just making that their play. That's good. I will send up... I'm going to attack. So they're at 120. So I will send up... Do I send up the Kirlia? What's that guy do? I'll send up Kirlia. I have free retreat. Keep people healthy and such. So Arven... not bad there. So there we go with him. So I think I want to get an incense, right? And I will grab my tool since it helps me thin also. Because I don't want to... Good, because I want to keep the Kirlia, right? Kirlia is a very, very useful ability. So I will retreat here. Send him up there at 120. So I think I just want to accelerate all 3 energies onto it. I have one I could attach by hand. I don't really think I need to worry about saving HP here. Done. So I do 180. I'll attach to my Gardevoir. And I think I want to Pal Pad the boss. No, I'll wait. I will attack. I will wait for next turn. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to attack at this point. I like the cards in hand, generally. I could have gotten rid of Arven. I don't think I need another Arven. So down to 2 prizes. All right, got my other Gardevoir, which I can evolve, which I could evolve my other Kirlia into the Gardevoir EX. So I don't have any more Kirlias, right? Both Kirlias are in play. If I play my other Gardevoir, then I lose my last Kirlia that I can utilize. All right, so if they play Zacian, no, I can't one-shot the Zacian either. The question is, are they at the point they can one-shot with Zacian? It has more HP. That definitely can one-shot my Gardevoir EX. So that's not great at all. So I can't. I've lost the Drifloon. I assume they're going to knock out Drifloon, which is fine. I'm trying to think through. I mean, if they knock out my Gardevoir EX, I'm in a lot of trouble, obviously. Because then I can't stop them from one-shotting my next Gardevoir EX either, I don't believe. Well, I mean, Gardevoir EX can... Actually, no, that's not true. So I can Gardevoir EX, send up my Kirlia, evolve it to Gardevoir EX. It does 190 damage. They might have Emergency Jelly, right? That's the card they need to attach also. So if they attach Emergency, get it down to 30 HP. They need to drop it. Right now they're at 40, though, so that's not enough. So 9. So they one-shot my... All right, so they didn't have energy. Now they have more energy to accelerate, so they can get it down to below 30 to use Emergency Jelly. Right, they'll get down to 20, and it just has HP. It has to be 30 or less, I believe, and it heals 120. Although that, we'll see. I think it just heals 120, right? 120. So it would have 140 HP, and Gardevoir does, I think, 190. So I believe... Oh, there we go. My opponent conceded, and I probably had game next turn anyway. So the deck... those games went well for me, I gotta say. I wasn't very kind to the deck before playing, but it went well, right? It sets up okay. Obviously, the stage 2 deck, which is clunky there, and the build's a little suboptimal. But it's still, I gotta say, it is a fun deck to play. I certainly have enjoyed it. I look forward to playing it more in the future, and particularly, I look forward to upgrading the deck. Definitely try out the deck, either the form it's in at Tier 0 or upgrading it with some of the other pieces that you're being given. Take care.